Hi everyone on YouTube. I'd like to share with you my workflow for editing 3D VR 180 videos using Shotcut, which is a free open source video editor. These videos are going to be shot using my Vuze XR camera, which is a fairly affordable VR 180 camera. However, as of this moment in August 2021, the VR camera Vuze XR is currently no longer available. It's discontinued, and currently there are no consumer level available cameras on the market for VR 180, so it's kind of a lull in the camera market. But if you do happen to have a Vuze XR or other VR 180 camera, such as the Insta360 makes one as well, you may be wondering, how can you edit your videos using this camera using a free editor called Shotcut, so you don't have to pay $320 US a year for Adobe Premiere, which I was doing, but I realized I can actually do pretty much everything I need to do using Shotcut. So the first thing to do is to get Shotcut. So go to shotcut.org and click to download and skip the ad, click close. And then to download it for Windows, you can choose one of these options. So I would choose the Windows installer from GitHub. And if you want a Mac, you can use Mac OS or Linux. It also has a version available. If you download it using one of these links, it is free. But if you download it using this link from Microsoft, you actually have to pay. So definitely recommend the free version. So go to Windows installer, and you can download it to your computer and install it like any other application. So once you've got Shotcut, you should be able to open it up and you'll see the interface here. I will go into a more detailed tutorial on Shotcut in a moment, but let's go over to the Vuze XR software first. So when you transfer a video file from your camera into your computer in Vuze XR, you will get a listing of all the folders which you filmed using your camera. And in this example, I have one called Example Project. And actually, I'll show you what it looks like when you are processing the video file first. So I recently went to a public market in Richmond, and I filmed some footage of a Asian style market. So this is the video file here, and if I opened it in this tool, you can see it's here. It is side-by-side footage, and I need to render this file first as a MP4. So I will do a simple approach. I'll click here, go render. Under the settings, the only thing you need to change is change the bitrate to custom and drag the slider all the way to the right. So you have 120 megabits. This is the maximum amount. And then also turn on alignment. And if you've captured this video handheld using a stabilizer, definitely turn on shake and horizon. Choose your destination folder and just click render. And then once it's rendering, if you go over to this tab, the Process Manager, you'll see the file here, progress bar is completing. If you're having trouble with using the software, you may need to upgrade your video card driver or get a more recent video card. Currently, I'm using a NVIDIA RTX Super 2060. So a very nice video card, a couple years old, but it's still very good. But it did work before when I used a GTX 970, which is a much older card. It was working okay for that card as well. So the output of this video is you'll get a MP4 file, which is a rendered video file, and you'll see that Vuze XR creates a file with the file name _render, so that's how you know the file is the right one. If I open this in a video player, you'd see that it is it's actually a 360 video. In VLC, you can see that the left and right sides of the video are divided down the middle, but if viewed in a 3D player, you would actually get a 3D image. So let's open up this video file in Shotcut. So I've got my Shotcut here, and it's simple enough to create a new project. So I'll first create a new project. Under Projects folder, I will choose the example project and select folder. Type a name for it. I'll call it Vuze XR example. And I've created a video mode called 5.7K VR180. If you don't know what this mode is, you can define your own here. These are the settings you need to use. So you can call it, say, VR180, and resolution would be 5760 by 2880. Aspect ratio, it should be 2:1. And frames per second, choose the one that says 29.97. And you can leave the default of progressive and ITUR BT709. So now you have a video mode set up, and click start. And it doesn't seem to do anything, but now you actually have a project. You see the name of the file here is Vuze XR example. So I'll change the view here to playlist, and I'll click, you can just simply drag in your video. So I'll drag my video into the playlist. And if you see it here, now it's playing. You get a side-by-side video in equirectangular format. So this is the correct format for outputting a video file in the VR180 format, which basically uses 180 degrees from top to bottom and 180 degrees from left to right, and there's side-by-side image, so left and then right image. And if you've worked with these kinds of videos before, you know that the left side represents what the left eye sees, and the right side represents what the right eye sees. So you can simply work with this in your timeline. So drag this video or use the down arrow here to drop this clip onto your track. And now I have a new track which has this video here. And I could do things like, if I wanted to edit the file, I can press S to split, and that lets me put a cut in the video. I can put another split, and I can say delete this section. I can delete that gap or drag this video over. It has the basic editing software that you can imagine. If you drag one video over top of another, it actually does a crossfade here, so that's very handy. And if you wanted to, say, chop off the beginning of this video, you can set your playhead, and if you wanted to, say, set an in point, you can go press I to chop off the beginning, or you can do Shift I, which will shift everything over and chop off the beginning. Similarly, for the end, I can just push O, chops off the end, O for out, or I can go Shift O, and if there's anything to the right of it, it will automatically shift it over for me. To do a fade out, you can hover your mouse over the top right corner of the video file. There's a little circle that appears, and you can just slowly drag that in, and that does a 3-second fade out. You can also do things like adding an audio file, audio track. So right click on the track, go right click here even, track operations, add audio track, add video track, insert track, remove track. So I can add an audio track and I can drag in some audio there. Works very much like Adobe Premiere, but the UI is a little bit less polished. So let's say I have this video here and I wanted to add some titles on it. And in VR180, you need to have the same title in the left side and the right side for it to show up in both eyes. But also you want to make sure that the titles are offset correctly so that they actually appear in front of whatever subject you have. And the trick is, let's say your title starts off in the middle. I want to offset it to the left side, offset it to the right side, but I want to offset it a little bit less than the middle here, so it appears slightly to the right on the left image and slightly to the left on the right image. That will give you the perception of it being closer to the viewer in the stereo view when you use your 3D glasses or VR headset. So this is an example of how I would create a title using Shotcut for VR180 video. The first thing I want to do is right click on the track, track operations. I want to add a video track, and actually I want to add 2 video tracks. So add another one, and I'll drag this up a little bit so you can see the tracks. And I don't really care about that. Don't really care about the audio track at the bottom. And then let's say I want to make a title. So I'll go to the bottom track first, start my cursor at the beginning, I'll go open other, and I'll say text. And preset, I will choose transparent, and I'll say this is going to be my website logo, so I'll type in geoffmobile.com, this is the text that I want, and then I'll click OK. So I want to drop this title into the timeline, so I'll click the overwrite arrow, and that drops the title right into my timeline. And now you can see that it's overlaid some text on top of this video, but this is not ready yet. We actually need to do a few more things. So let's make this video take up the entire frame, and we also want to use some properties here. So I'll have to move this down again so I can see it. It seems like we're getting a bit cut off, but let me see if I can adjust this. I usually edit at a much higher resolution. Okay, here we go. So for horizontal fit, center, but we also want vertical fit. So this window, I can actually pop it out and make it bigger. And I want vertical fit to also be in the middle. And I think I like this text to be a little bit bigger. So I will increase the font size to 80. And then my logo is now in the middle. Actually, I think we should make it even bigger. So I'll say 120. So my title is now in the middle. That's good. And I think I'm going to make it a little bit lower down. So kind of a bit more like that. Okay, great. So now we have our text and it is in the middle of the video. The next step is to apply a filter to the text called 360 plane to equirectangular. So I'll show you how to do that. Click the plus button, search for 360. It's called rectilinear to equirectangular. This is a special filter that will change your 2D text into the mapping of a 360 video, which is the same for VR180, which is called equirectangular. Click there. Now you can see the text has gotten smaller, but that's fine. It's now the correct scaling or transformation to make it look correct on a 360 video. So that's the first step. The next step is we want to add a size, position, and rotate filter. This is where you have to do a little bit of math. So let's say that our video size is 5760. So 5760. If I go divide by 2, it gives me the midpoint, which is 2880. And then the distance from the middle point to, say, the middle of each eye would be another divide by 2. So that gives us 1440. But remember, like I said, I want the text to be slightly to the right of the middle on the left eye and slightly to the left of the middle on the right eye. So let's say I want to set my offset at 1400. So on this frame, I will position, I'll do minus 1440. You can see that one moved over to the middle, slightly to the right of the middle on the left frame. So that's good for now. Next thing I want to do is actually copy this video over into the track above it, and let's apply the same filter to it. So click on the video, click on the next frame, drag it above, and drag it right over top. And I want to click on this one and then go into here and change this position rotate to actually positive 0.1440. Great. And if we look back at our video now, you'll actually see that we have the text that we want is now in the left frame and in the right frame. So if I render this video out and then view it in a VR headset, this text will actually appear a bit closer to the camera than the footage in the background, and it will actually appear with the correct transformation for a VR 180 video. Okay, so this is our video, and I'll make this title a bit longer so maybe you can see the, there we go, and I'll save my project. Now you think, how do I export this video and actually upload to YouTube so that people can watch it in VR? This is where you want to go over to the Export tab. And actually, to make this export a lot faster, I am going to just chop off a bunch of this video here. So I'm going to just pretty much make it a 12-second video, and I'll split it in this track, and I'm just going to delete the rest of it because I want to make this really fast for us to export. Okay, so there's our video, and we'll do a bit of a fade out here for 24 frames. Save that, and I'll go over to export again. So this is where you have to do a few changes for your settings. I always select YouTube on the presets, and if you use your hardware encoder, it's most likely not going to work because the video cards most likely do not provide support for 5.7K hardware encoding. So turn off hardware encoder, make sure from timeline is selected. Under advanced, you want to keep everything like this except turn on parallel processing because it will speed it up a lot. And for the other things, you can pretty much leave it as is. Make sure your audio settings are like this so you can actually have pretty good quality of audio. And that's it. So I click export file, and I will export this in my sample project. I'll call it via Vuze XR example.mp4, and I'll save this. So when you click save, it will automatically start exporting. If you want to see the progress, go over to jobs, and here are my jobs, and you can actually see this over here. This job is running, and it should be done in about 1 minute. You can see. Okay, so this video has now finished rendering, so I can right click here and go show in folder, and now I've got my MP4 here. So if I actually play this using VLC, you can see that it is a regular VR 180 video with left side and right eye, and it has my title on the video here. But this is not playing in 360 mode because the metadata is not in the video. This is where you need to use the Google VR 180 creator to inject the metadata. As of this week, Google no longer provides this VR 180 creator. So if you are stuck and can't find it online at a safe location, please email me and I can email you the download that I captured before they removed it from their site. Unfortunately, Google no longer supports VR 180 cameras, so their software to inject the metadata is no longer available. I hope someone will come up with a solution, but in the meantime, you could ask me if you need to access this. I can send you the download, but I only have the Windows version. If you are using Linux or Mac, you will need to find this somewhere else, but hopefully someone else will have a download for those platforms. But if we go to prepare for publishing, you can select the file, and this is where I would go to example project and choose the file that was output from Shotcut. And this will show this video as a flat rendering. And you can see that this, even though in the original file that was edited out or rendered out by Shotcut, this was curved transform text, you can see that it appears normal in this presentation because this is the view that you get when you see it through a VR 180 camera or VR 180 viewer or headset or 3D glasses. So you can keep all these settings the same and just click export, and you'll see that it adds the word injected to the file name, which is totally fine. Click export. Open folder. Now, if I actually open this file in VLC again, you'll see that it now renders as a 360 video, and my title is there. You can kind of check it this way. It doesn't actually render as a 3D video, but if you wanted to, you could use a program called SView, which is a great free program made by a Russian software developer. You can open up this file in SView, and you can even see it here in an equirectangular format, or if you wanted to view it in anaglyph glasses, we'll even do that for you. So it will let you view the video using special 3D glasses. So now you may ask, what do I do? How do I upload this to YouTube? So I will show you briefly that. Basically, you want to go to YouTube and click Create, Upload Video, and select your file. The file that I edited, where is it now? Here it is, the project. It's called Vuze XR example injected.mp4. That's the one you want to upload. If you upload the regular one without injected, it will actually not render as a VR 180 video in VR headsets. So just upload this file, and once it's uploaded, it will take up to 2 days for it to show up in VR 180 format on YouTube. So be patient. It takes a long time because YouTube no longer has much support for VR 180, but it does work. Just have to wait a couple of days. That's my tutorial. Hope you found this useful. I'll put a link to how this video looks below, so you can actually see this video on YouTube that I'm uploading to see for yourself. And please leave your comments below, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe, and see you next time.